Good morning, Bitcoins. I think we're live now. Just starting to get the lower third going. We've just had some breaking news on Twitter. We wanted to go live to tell you about it. The breaking news is that the SEC has issued a report concluding that DAO tokens were a security. The digital asset DAO tokens used by Slockit to raise funds for their Smart Locks project. The same DAO tokens that were stolen by the DAO hacker who created sub-DAOs, thus transferring the funds to himself. A distributed autonomous organization has been declared a security. We have a press release from the SEC. U.S. security laws may apply to offers, sales, and tradings of interests in virtual organizations. For immediate release, Washington, D.C., the Securities and Exchange Commission issued an investigative report today cautioning participants that offers by virtual organizations are subject to the requirements of federal elected by organs using this technology have been referred to, among other things, as initial coin offerings or token sales. Whether a particular investment transaction involves the offer or sale of security, regardless of the terminology or technology used, will depend on the facts and circumstances, including the economic realities of the transaction. The SEC is not going to be fooled by just a few words. The SEC presumably will look at a case-by-case basis and determine whether something is or is not a security. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We have 146 viewers. If everyone could give us a thumbs up and a share. We're joined by Blake Anderson for more information and thoughts on this report. Blake, what do you think about the SEC and their decision?
Well, the SEC is saying that any token sale or ICO that passes the Howey test will be considered a security, which isn't really surprising to a lot of people in the space, but it is surprising in terms of how long this took to come out. I tweeted earlier as a response to this that Chris DeRose is somewhere opening a bottle of champagne, and then funnily enough, later on he responded, if I had any and if I had any interest in drinking, I would, but instead, he's been, pounding the pavement on Twitter, talking about what are the implications of this? What are the implications for Coinbase and their trading Ethereum and stuff like that? So it seems like it was specifically about the DAO, but in terms of what conclusions can we draw from what this will reach? I mean, there's a lot of thought to explore there.
We're also joined by Tone Vase and Jimmy Song. I just want to get Jimmy in here too. Jimmy, what are your thoughts so far on the SEC's decision?
Well, it does put sort of a damper on the ICO phenomenon, and I imagine a lot of people will be more hesitant to issue ICOs given this warning. I mean, it's one thing to lose a lot of money; it's another to go to jail. That's kind of a pretty big deterrent as far as I'm concerned. I imagine many ICOs will be sort of excluding U.S. customers or doing something to get around that fact, and we're seeing some carnage over there in the altcoin market. So I'm sure Tone will have more to say about the this SEC report and the effect on price that it will have.
All right, let's go to Tone Vase, who's in a car. You're walking around. What's going on, Tone?
Yeah, no, I'm on my way up to San Francisco to join up with you, Thomas. I'll be at the San Francisco meetup tonight. Yeah, so we just happened to pull over just so I can just jump on this for a few minutes. And this is not a surprise to me at all, which is why everyone is like tweeting it, like mentioning my name. Ethereum is no different than the DAO itself. I actually have not read the news, and unfortunately I joined this a few minutes too late. So I don't know if it's directly affecting other ICOs yet, because it sounded like it only had to do about the DAO. None of these ICOs are any different than the DAO. They're all the DAO. Ethereum is the DAO. They are all the same. The only way to get around it was basically to not to have any U.S. citizens as part of the company, not to promote in the U.S., and not to sell to U.S. citizens. And then if a U.S. citizen happened to get a hold of one, then it's probably okay. I don't think Poloniex or Coinbase are going to be in trouble over this, because they're not creating the security. They're just allowing the security to be traded until the SEC comes in and says that you can't like trade these things. And
I don't know if trading unregistered securities is going to fly though.
But they're just creating the platform, right? I mean, they're not going to get. I don't expect them to get retroactively popped for doing something illegal. All right, I don't.
But they're still trading now, which is interesting. Ethereum is still going back and forth now. So if, like what you said, if they really are similar, that's an interesting point, because I mean, trading an unregistered security isn't okay. So it'll be interesting to see what they do going forward, even if they're not retroactively slapped.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know if did they actually say about trading the unregistered. I think it was just creating the unregistered security.
The release right now is DAO was discrete funding contract, but it would not have met. It would not have met for crowdfunding, because it was not a broker deal or a funding portal registered with the FCC. The innovative technology behind these virtual transactions does not exempt security offerings and trading platforms from the regulatory framework assigned to protect investors and the integrity of the markets. So that is both platforms and investors.
So to me, that translates to, no matter how fancy you describe the emperor's clothes as, you can't be nude in public and you're going to jail.
Oh, so this is amazing news for Bitcoin, honestly, because remember, in that video that I did, in the Crypto Scam Ethereum podcast that I did, we clearly discussed that it's on federal record that Bitcoin is not a security. That is in the legal record. Thank you, Jason Seibert, as part of your defense case for Trend on Shavers. So Bitcoin is not a security. But it's obvious that almost everything else is a security. Litecoin might be able to get away with it. Monero might be able to get away with it. Dash is going to have a bit of a problem because of the Instamine. But there's very few digital assets out there that will not be securities. Everything else is a security. And I think they're all in deep shit. This is what I've talked about for years. And I'm not saying I wanted it to happen, but people should have taken precautions, and I'm not going to feel bad about any of these people. These were the same people that were making fun of like me and everybody else on this network as to why we're not millionaires scamming other people. And this regulation is going to come down hard, and this is great for Bitcoin. Sooner or later, all of us on this channel knew that the ICO, the altcoin bubble, was going to pop big time. And the question was, will it drag Bitcoin down with it, or will it actually move all that value into Bitcoin? And I think it's going to move all that value into Bitcoin. If it wasn't for this forking nonsense, Bitcoin would be going through the roof right now. And I think it still will because of this. I think this is very positive for Bitcoin.
People were making a meme, like a living meme, in a chat that I was in earlier. And remember in the movie Superbad, where they're like, Fogel, hi, if you're not in this class, leave this class. Except for they replaced Fogel with every single altcoin, and everybody in the class was Bitcoin. So it was the SEC saying, if you're not in this class, leave this class. I thought that was a funny meme.
All right, guys, I'm going to get going unless you have direct questions for me. Just wanted to jump in and comment real quick.
No, we also have to get going. I've got to get going to the Bitcoin meetup. No one really has time for this. Apologies for the lateness of this report. Oh, Tony, you're echoing again. The lateness of this report. I was taking a nap. Just goes to show you can never sleep in crypto. There's no stopping this. Bitcoin is 24. Right now, the price is $25.50. I agree with Tone. In the long term, or maybe even the short term, the money should slide back into Bitcoin. But even then, this could cause everything to go down, as there'll be a general adjustment to this news. Tone, you want to finish it out?
Yeah, I'm about an hour away from San Francisco is my best guess. So I'll see you there in a minute.
If you can make it before the sunshine acid takes hold, it'll be a miracle.
It'll be a miracle if we can get out of this desert alive. So everyone check out the news. We've got it on Twitter @MadBitcoins. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.